Hello everyone, my name is Sam and welcome to Jackson Hole. This is part 2 of my series on how I set up my custom views in flight simulators. This video will focus specifically on Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you're interested in how to set up custom views in X-Plane, then please see my previous video. As I previously explained, having a consistent set of views that are standard across all simulators and aircraft is essential for my flight simulation experience. Modern aircraft are complex, they require monitoring and manipulation of many controls, and being able to traverse to quickly review or make changes without having to think about how to do that is essential in order to maintain safe flying, effective navigation, and effective communication. Therefore, I developed a scheme many years ago that uses the number pad for a defined set of views within the cockpit and around the aircraft, and this saves me from having to think about which key I need to press in order to view a specific system. So first, let's look at how this view setup works in Microsoft Flight Simulator. One thing of note in Microsoft Flight Simulator is that the Save Custom Camera key bindings might not be set. To do that, go into your controls options under the keyboard bindings, and then within the cockpit camera section, you should find the Save Custom Camera 9 through 0 keybind settings. For consistency with X-Plane, I've set these to control plus the number pad number. Obviously, you can set them to anything that you'd like, but I'm aiming for consistency, which is why I've set them to the same as the X-Plane keyboard mapping. And then if we look down, we can see the load custom camera controls for 9 through 0 are set to the number pad options. I believe this is set up already. While I'm here, I'll also call out that I have set the traversal keys to be the same as in X-Plane as well. All these keyboard mappings are detailed in the cheat sheet that is linked in the description below. I will be honest to say it took me some time to get used to the view system in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm still figuring things out as we go. So this scheme may change over time depending on what I discover. One of the core principles of this scheme is that consistency is paramount. That means that each view mapping should be the same for each aircraft type and across each simulator that I use. In addition, I strive to ensure as much as possible there's consistency around the view controls. It should also be noted that Microsoft Flight Simulator has multiple camera modes. The cameras behave differently in different modes. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how the various camera systems work in Microsoft Flight Simulator. However, if you'd like to see a video on this in future, then please feel free to leave a comment below. So let's jump on board this Boeing 737-800. And here we are in the standard cockpit view that I occupy the most often, the pilot's view. All of the views within the cockpit are bound to 6 main controls on the number pad. We'll cycle through these now. So the pilot view is on number pad 8, the first officer view is on number pad 9, the overhead panel is on number pad 0, our FMC is on number pad 5, and our center console and panel is on number pad 2. In addition, we have a wing view for the left wing on 4 and 1, and similarly a wing view for the right wing on 6 and 3. Recently, PMDG added an EFB to the Boeing 737 series, and we can get to that through the number pad key 7. All of these bindings are covered in the cheat sheet attached in the description below. As I mentioned earlier, one of the core principles of this camera view setup is that it's consistent. Therefore, how does this apply to a different aircraft type? Let's jump in a TBM 850 and have a look. So here we have a TBM 850, a much smaller aircraft than a Boeing 737. So let's jump on board and see the view scheme in action here. So here we are on board the TBM 850 and we're sitting in the pilot view, which is bound to number pad 8. Like before, I can easily traverse the various views. So let's go to the first officer. Let's go to our overhead panel. Now this aircraft doesn't have an FMC, instead we have a GPS, but 5 goes straight to that GPS view. And to see our center console, we press 2. Now given the size of this aircraft, I felt that only one wing view was necessary per side, so we have 1 and 3 for the left and right wing view. When I first started using this simulator, I struggled with how to manipulate the camera in the cockpit view. Microsoft Flight Simulator has somewhat similar controls to X-Plane, but by default they won't be set up that way. However, it is possible to get Microsoft Flight Simulator's cameras to behave mostly like X-Planes. For example, to traverse the camera left, right, up and down, use the cursor keys just as you would in X-Plane, and that works pretty much as expected. However, the pitch and yaw motion on the camera wasn't set up as it is in X-Plane, but you can set it up within your preferences. So now, similar to X-Plane, if I hit Q, I will yaw to the left, and E will yaw to the right. And then R will pitch the camera up, and F will pitch it down. Now one thing that is different between X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator is the forward and reverse motion and the up and down motion are relative to the cockpit rather than the camera. In X-Plane, they're relative to the camera. So even though I'm looking down here, if I hit the period button to go forward, you'll see we'll move forward on a level axis. In X-Plane, the camera would just move forward in the direction that you're looking. This isn't a major deal, but it's something to be aware of. So there you have it. That is how I map my camera views within Microsoft Flight Simulator. Once again, I want to reiterate that this is the same mappings that I use in X-Plane and consistent across all aircraft I use in both simulators. The goal is to ensure that I can traverse different views just using my left hand without having to look at the keyboard, which enables me then to fly the plane effectively, navigate and communicate without distraction. I have a link to my cheat sheet for Microsoft Flight Simulator in the description below. Feel free to use it. If you found this video useful, then please smash that like button. To see other videos like this in future, hit the subscribe button. I have been Sam, and I hopefully will see you in the next video. Take care.